What is good, YouTube? It's your boy Cal, aka Activism, here with another video on the channel. And I know it's been like a couple of days since I last posted. Only been like 4 days, which isn't really a lot for y'all, but it feels like a lot for me because I usually upload every 2 to 3 days. So yeah. But before I even start this video, I'd like to thank y'all for 192 subscribers. We're literally 8 subscribers away from 200. So I would appreciate anybody watching this. Like, whether you feel like you're going to subscribe or not, I would just appreciate a subscription, regardless. You know, if you like seeing this video and you're like, oh, I'm not rocking with the vibe, you gotta give me some time to grow into my role as a content creator. You know, I'm trying to improve the content for y'all. I'm not trying to just make only reaction content. I'm trying to really branch this shit out. I'm just trying to find out ways I can do that, you know? So like, just trust the process. I promise you the quality of the content is gonna get better. And I'm gonna become someone that y'all like grow fond of. I promise y'all that. But yeah. Anywho. Oh wait. I ain't even got the shit on. It's been a couple of days, bro. Give me some leniency. Today, we are reacting to a video titled YouTube's Darkest Videos 9. Shout out my nigga Nick Crowley. He is not new to the channel.
The following video is sponsored by SimpliSafe. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're now arriving at our Wasco station stop.
On the morning of March 22nd, 2024, the Kern County Sheriff's Office was flooded with calls about an incident that had taken place near the Wasco Amtrak station in Wasco, California. The incident involved a pedestrian who was reportedly walking dangerously close to an active train track before being struck by an oncoming locomotive, a situation that authorities knew was likely unsurvivable. Police arrived at the scene shortly after 8 a.m. and were met with the bloody aftermath of the accident, as they found 48-year-old Horacio Ayala Penosa deceased on the tracks, with the force of the impact being so strong that his body was torn apart and scattered all throughout the area. At first, it was believed to have been a clear-cut suicide, but after interviewing some of the witnesses, police learned that the man had never stepped in front of the train, and rather, he had actually been sucked underneath as a result of walking too closely, painting a clearer picture that this was all a tragic accident. But as police were conducting these interviews, one strange detail kept coming up, as apparently, Horacio wasn't the only one on the tracks around the time of the incident, with there allegedly having been one other man standing nearby, a man who took off shortly after Horacio had been killed. And strangely, witnesses believe they saw the man reach down and pick something up before leaving. For the officers on the scene, finding this man became the next obvious order of business, but by this point, he had already found himself a few blocks away, where he was spotted by a group of construction workers. The group watched as the man walked towards them, appearing to hold some sort of large item in one of his hands, the same item that had been taken from the train tracks. And the closer he got, the clearer it became what exactly this thing was. It was a human leg.
What the fuck? Okay. I ain't gonna lie. I was trying my best not to pause it or say anything that whole time, because I was like really trying to let this nigga get to like the point of all the shit he was saying. Where the fuck this nigga got a human leg from, bro? Also, it is November. It's not Halloween no more, so the scary videos are about to stop, like the scary type of reactions, and I'm about to go back to like just random and cheerful shit. Like, you know, this popped up on my feed, so I had to watch it, bro. That shit looks like a child's leg. That's not even a full adult leg.
For some inexplicable reason, when the train had dismembered Horacio, this man had run over and picked up his leg, and he was now waving that leg on the sidewalk
that's his
of the nearby
leg?
road, with the construction crew claiming that he had been banging it against the fence as he walked towards them, and at one point had even struck the leg against one of their machines. Upon the realization, a wave of fear washed over the group, as they were unsure what this man had done to get this leg, or what he would do next. Though that was something that even the wildest of imaginations
Hold the fuck up. If that's his leg, how is he walking so normally?
With the construction crew claiming that he had been banging it against the fence as he walked towards them.
That nigga's
and
walking, that's not his leg, bro.
Against one of their machines. Upon the realization, a wave of fear washed over the group, as they were unsure what this man had done to get this leg, or what he would do next, though that was something that even the wildest of imaginations could have never predicted.
He's eating that. Hey, viendo.
As the man looked down at the leg and began eating it, as the workers watched on in horror. Officers arrived on the scene immediately after this, and when they asked the man what he was doing with the leg, he explained that it belonged to him, and that he was taking it to a nearby hospital to have it reattached.
Man,
But
shoot
it was
this
obvious
nigga.
to everyone there that this man wasn't missing any of his legs.
Yeah, that's what I'm
with the
saying.
officers having to go as far as to prove it to him by making him roll up the sleeves of his pants and touch both of his legs. His explanation was completely nonsensical, and obviously didn't account for the fact that he was literally eating the leg just minutes before, leading to officers immediately placing him under arrest.
Shoot this nigga, bro.
His name was Rosendo Taya.
I ain't gonna lie. Like, there's a lot of fucked up cops and shit in this world, but like, I still gotta give my respect to niggas like that. Cause niggas like me, if I was a police officer, I'm not going close to this dude, bro. Let alone arresting him. Like, he might just die where he stand. I ain't gonna lie. Cause, bro, nigga, you telling me you see a nigga eating a leg, walking around with that bitch. All when like he's all crazy and shit, saying it's his leg and shit, bro. I can't. I ain't gonna lie. And I ain't even gonna trust that nigga not to try to bite me when he gets close to me, or when I get close to put the handcuffs on him. Like, nah, that nigga gotta get shot, bro.
The 27-year-old man who had been experiencing homelessness and had been living on a street near the train tracks, with police determining that he did in fact have nothing to do with the actual death of Horatio. He just so happened to be near the tracks at the time, where he would first witness the accident, and then, for some unknown reason, take Horatio's leg and start eating it. It appears as though this was the result of a combination of both drugs and alcohol, as he was found carrying narcotics when he was taken into custody, and he had just been captured by security cameras purchasing alcohol at a nearby liquor store just hours before the incident. But what's so interesting about this footage is just how normal Rosendo seems. In fact, the people working there knew him quite well, as he stopped in almost daily, where he was described as being polite and ordinary, including on the day of that incident. In fact, it's said that at first the shop owners didn't believe that Rosendo could have possibly done this, but it seems that whatever substances he had taken that day had changed him. Rosendo Tejas was charged with 2 counts of removal of human remains, and 1 count of destroying or concealing evidence, as well as resisting a police officer, and was sentenced to 1 year in prison after pleading no contest, bringing this absurd case
1
to an
year?
end. However, his unsettling behavior will forever live on
That's crazy.
in one of YouTube's darkest videos.
I don't get it. How do you only get 1 year for doing some shit like that? Like, yeah, I know he didn't kill him or anything, and he only like took the part of the body. But like, even then, there has to be a way more serious charge than like, 1, cannibalism, and 2, like publicly displaying gore or some shit. Cause this nigga didn't even get charged for eating the leg. Like, they said destruction of evidence or something, but like, nigga, is cannibalism not? Hold on, I gotta search that shit up. While there isn't always a specific explicit law that uses the word cannibalism, it is effectively illegal everywhere because the actions required to obtain and consume human flesh violate other serious laws such as murder, assault, or desecration of a corpse. So there's no such thing as cannibalism itself being illegal, just the desecration of a corpse and shit like that. So like, I don't get it. They can't make like cannibalism itself illegal, but everything else like going towards cannibalism is illegal, I guess. I don't know.
Fun of Halloween should not include mischief.
I don't know why they can't, but Chapter 2 watched.
It was just past 10 p.m. Safely tucked away in her second-story apartment, 20-year-old Hannah Vivaretti set up her phone to record a video of herself dancing. For her, this was a meditative practice, a way of unwinding after a long, stressful day, and to truly feel at peace. But that day fate had other plans.
And the craziest part is she not even hitting that shit either. She got some weak ass moves.
As Hannah was dancing, something off camera caused her to stop dead in her tracks and yell, "Who are you?" It was a man whom Hannah had never seen before, standing.
Ladies, I ain't gonna lie. Ladies, young women, young adults in general. Get a gun, bro. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't even got a gun yet myself, but I got hands. And my mom has guns and shit. And I still have weaponry if it's not a gun, you know? So, like, just make sure y'all have a gun, because sometimes pepper spray and taters, nigga, guns immediately intimidate most people if you point it at them. So, like, just always own the gun. That's just weaponry or some sort, because there's no way that you should be approaching a random stranger in your house like this. No, a random stranger shouldn't even be in your house at that. But you should not be approaching them like this, unarmed, you know?
in the doorway of her balcony, which again was on the second floor, meaning that man had climbed up, cracked open the door, and was now standing in her home staring at her, quietly muttering nonsensically with a big grin on his face.
Who are you? Who are you? Please get off.
Hannah stopped the music and again asked, "Who are you?" To which the man responded by saying,
Please get out. No, please get out. Are you sure? Yes.
But her demeanor and the panic in her voice made it all too clear that this was far from the case.
Who are you? Please get out of my apartment right now.
She started to make her way over to her phone and then towards the front door. All the while, the man kept calmly insisting that they be friends, but Hannah was having none of it.
Please get out of my apartment right now.
Opening her front door and in the process,
Get out. Get out.
pointing the
is
camera
that?
directly at the intruder, giving us our first and only glimpse of the man as he's standing still in the balcony doorway. And with her front door now open, she yelled at him to get out, loud enough for the neighbors to hear.
Get out.
Which finally caused the man to retreat.
Man, I'm calling
As
the
it turns
police.
out, Hannah did actually know who this man was, at least vaguely, as he lived in the same apartment complex, but he never actually spoke to her. He would always just stare and smile, making it apparent that he had some sort of sick interest in her. As for why he entered her home that night, it's fairly obvious that his intentions were incredibly sinister, with Hannah recalling that during the entire experience, his hands never left his hoodie pocket, making her wonder if he was holding onto some sort of weapon that he may have been planning to use on her. But thankfully, because of her swift reaction, we'll never truly know what he had planned that night. Days after the incident, police would arrest 36-year-old Angel Moses Rodriguez Gomez and charge him with stalking.
And all these niggas gotta be Hispanic, bro. Like, I ain't got no problem with Hispanic people, but like, you know what state the country in. So the fact that the first two weirdos in the video are both Hispanic, that shit just about to spread. Like, somebody about to watch this and be like, that's all I gotta get them out of this country. No, and I ain't even trying to make it no ethnicity thing or no fucking political thing, because like, that's literally the state of the world. ISIS treating Hispanic people like they're not human. And like, I know this isn't the video creator's intention, but this shit, somebody probably seeing this shit and thinking that nigga's weird now.
Stalking, second-degree assault, third and fourth-degree burglary, and malicious destruction of property. But surprisingly, shortly after his arrest, they allowed him to walk free on bail.
That's
And
crazy.
given that he lived in the same apartment complex as Hannah, and clearly knew where she lived, this decision was incredibly controversial, with Hannah herself stating in an interview that, "I just don't think it's fair that he's walking freely right now, and I have to watch my back at every angle." Thankfully, the court's decision would not lead to any further escalations in the case, and today Angel no longer lives in the country, but the footage is incredibly chilling nonetheless, and it sent me down a rabbit hole of home invasion videos late the other night. And here on YouTube, I came across countless unsettling examples. One such example comes from Saratov, Russia, and shows a woman moments after being awoken by the sound of knocking as she lay in bed in her apartment. It was around 4:30 a.m., which was already unusual enough, but things became downright horrifying for her when she realized that the knocking wasn't coming from the door, it was coming from the window.
That's crazy. Nigga, you could literally see the knuckle on that bitch. But nah, cause like, thing is, yesterday I could have sworn I heard the noise come from my window. I live on the second floor of this, like, of the house, by the way. And there is no, like, bedroom on the first floor. So, Nigga, I heard knocking coming from my room window. I thought, nigga, I got up so quick to see what the fuck that was, nigga. And like, I looked outside and a single thing was there. So either I'm tweaking or this house got a ghost in it. One of the two. But I was ready regardless. Why the fuck would you, yo? See, look, maybe I'm just scary ass nigga, but personally speaking, I'm open that window. Gun straight to the head, nigga. I ain't even no thug, nigga. I ain't even no thug, but I ain't, you know. Oh, fuck no.
Outside of her window was a man, banging his head against the glass over and over again. And equally as disturbing, this woman's unit wasn't on the first floor. She was 2 stories up, and she didn't have a balcony. Across the street, a neighbor filmed the incident as it happened, showing us that the man was standing on one of the building's gas pipes while he continued to strike the window.
To be fair though, that is like a small ass like second story building.
These hits grew so forceful that the glass started to break, and his head began bleeding profusely, finally leading to the man stopping, but not in the pursuit of entering the home.
Что?
У него пена изо рта.
Слушай, это у дурачка пена изо рта, мне бешенство или что?
Not gonna lie. If I was like, if say for instance he was to open that window or some shit, niggas like me is kicking him straight down those 2 fucking stories. I ain't gonna lie. Spartan kicking his shit.
Ну, бля, попей мочи, иди отсюда уже.
As he instead climbed to a different window where he attempted to peel it open with his fingers. But by this point, police had already arrived on the scene, and eventually the man would be forced down and placed under arrest. When looking for an explanation as to why this man was doing this, it appears that he was under the influence of bath salts during the ordeal.
There ain't no way bath salts that crazy.
Information about the man's identity, or whatever became of him. But I was able to find that this clip doesn't tell the entire story, as the woman behind the camera actually spoke to a local reporter and provided additional context to the ordeal, which only made the story more terrifying. At first, he knocked with his hands. Then he began to peck at me at the window with his head for an hour and a half without stopping. After that, he started shouting my name to the whole yard. He was foaming at the mouth. His whole face was covered in blood, and he shouted that he wanted to talk to me, and he needed me. With the most terrifying part of the statement being that she had no idea who this man was, or how he could have even known her name. The idea of both of these intruder videos featuring people whom the victims had never even spoken to makes them especially unsettling, as it shows that you really never know who's watching and who might be obsessing over you. But incidents like this can be equally as chilling when the intruder is someone that you do know. Mohammed Amana was a 26-year-old man living in Orrefors, Sweden, and had been dating a woman named Maria. But after several run-ins with the law, Mohammed's lifestyle just became too much for her, and she eventually decided to end the relationship. This caused Mohammed to become enraged, an emotion that was only further heightened when he discovered that she was staying with a male friend of theirs. And on the 25th of May, he would show up at his doorstep and ask to speak to Maria. Inside, the male friend and Maria both refused to let him in and told him to leave, and for a moment he did, though only temporarily, as he would return minutes later, this time armed with a ladder. And noticing what he was trying to do, the homeowner began recording on his cell phone.
En stege. Okay.
Oh, hell no.
Vad gör du?
The man behind the camera asks, "What are you doing? Are you going to fight me?" To which Mohammed said no, he just wanted to speak to Maria.
Tror du kommer upp här? Tror du kommer upp här?
As he said this, his demeanor was unsettlingly calm as he continues making his way up the ladder.
Mohammed, du kommer inte upp här.
Man, push that nigga
Du
down.
kommer inte in i mitt hem. Du kommer inte in i mitt hem, Mohammed.
With his demeanor being so calm that the cameraman couldn't tell if Mohammed was a threat or not, though it wouldn't take long for him to get his answer.
Du kommer inte in i mitt hem. Därför
Oh shit. Yeah, push that nigga down.
Han höll mig med en kniv.
In an instant, Mohammed struck the cameraman, causing him to retreat into his room.
Man, what? You a grown ass man and nigga hit you in your shit. You better push his ass down, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Nigga try swing on me while he at the top of a ladder. That nigga's dying to fall damage. On God, nigga. Like, you ain't about to be hitting me like I'm a bitch, and then I'm gonna go on the ground and beat your ass too.
Closing the sliding glass door just in time for Muhammad to step on the balcony and brandish a large kitchen
shit.
Nee, we haben stil shut the knife. Zoek niet hè.
Why you just have conveniently, you just giving this nigga inventory? Like, this nigga has a fucking brick on his balcony. Like, one brick, not connected to nothing.
Han krossar glaset med en sten.
Shit.
Still dazed by the attack, the man holding the camera retreated even further into the house, while Maria had already run into the bathroom and locked the door behind her, a door that Mohammed would quickly rush over to.
Mohammed. Släpp in mig på dass när han kommer in. Han kommer in, Maria. Mohammed, hugg du. Mohammed, du högg mig redan.
And desperately tried to open, even trying to use his knife to turn the lock, as that lock was the only thing standing in the way of what he was there to do. What exactly that was is unknown, as police would manage to arrive on the scene within minutes of this footage being taken.
Yeah, W police.
Before he was able to get to Maria, but it's clear based on the fact that he had a weapon on him and his desperate attempt to breach the house that he didn't just want to have a conversation. In the end, the man filming was left with only minor cuts, and Mohammed was sentenced to 2 years in prison as well as a 10-year ban from the country of Sweden.
2 years in, like, bro, this shit that be killing me, bro. Well, how you break and enter with the intention of killing, most likely, in someone's house, and you're only getting 2 years in jail, nigga? Like, yeah, it might feel long while you're in there, but at the same time, that's not shit. Like, I ain't expecting these niggas to get life sentences for this shit, obviously, but, like, they gotta get something more than just 2 fucking years. Like, oh yeah, he banned from the country of Sweden for 10 years. Cool. What makes you think he ain't gonna do this shit to some other woman he's obsessed with outside of Sweden, nigga? Like, that's just not safe for people in general, bro. It's not like he just attempted, he also gave the man cuts. The man got cuts and the man got assaulted. So how the fuck he only got 2 years in jail for that? Yo.
Leaving us with 3 haunting videos of 3 disturbed intruders, whose true intentions will thankfully never be known.
The most disturbing thing about this video is how short their prison time is. Deadass.
It's the spookiest time of the year, a time when the consumption of horror movies and dark YouTube videos reaches its peak. But while fun in the moment, the true terror of consuming this content often occurs long after the credits roll, when you close your eyes to go to sleep, only to feel the sickening feeling of paranoia, every creak in your home sending a jolt of panic throughout your body, making you wonder if someone or something is inside your house. I was just like you once. Consuming creepy content is my livelihood, and as a result, I've spent countless sleepless nights feeling uneasy within my own home.
That's the first time I've ever seen this
Never
nigga.
quite feeling safe and secure, always wondering if something was lurking around me, until I realized that the reason I didn't feel secure was because I wasn't. The only thing standing between me and the outside world was a
Like
simple
it's sad.
and I knew it was time for a change, with that change finally coming when I partnered with this video sponsor, The Simply Base. I can check your run of send an alert to the person, whereas with old days where we
Yeah, it's
should
a
all
creative
be
way to do an
surviving,
ad though.
this
Shout out
is
my nigga Nick. The story of Noah Harfin.
Alright, hey folks, this is Noah, getting my vlog live. Trucks and trucks and lots of trucks.
This is the very first footage that Noah Harpum would post to YouTube. After years of having a channel, Noah finally decided to give uploading a try, posting this inaugural video to a self-titled channel on October 29th, 2015, titling it 102915 Video Blog.
This nigga got 72k views on that shit and 56 subscribers. That's the way y'all niggas be doing me. Y'all be giving me hundreds of views on videos and don't be fucking subscribing. Nigga, please subscribe. Please. Like, I don't... What more do you want from me, nigga? I'm trying to entertain you, bro. Shit.
Introducing himself to the platform with a simple "Hello world" in the description.
No, but I did want to dissect just the beginning of a sermon given by a Pastor Bill, a guy that my dad has been following, taking ideas from for 10 years at least. He and his family, 2 kids.
In the video, Harpum paces throughout his home and discusses a priest named Pastor Bill, whom he believed was influencing his father and his family, and clearly not in a good way.
I've been ignorant of it for a long time, so I wanted to look at it, and I challenged him just to look at 15 minutes of this sermon.
Though he gives no context as to who this pastor is, only mentioning that he had been ignorant of the situation for a while, and that this video was his response after trying to expose the truth to his father.
Been waiting, and haven't heard anything. So I was going to just post my reply, and I guess that's how I'll start my blog.
Again, what this truth is unclear, as the lack of information makes this video a confusing watch, and ultimately it tells us very little about who Noah was, let alone the other people he was discussing. But he did end the clip by making it clear that this was only the beginning of what would be a reoccurring blog series that would showcase just him, his thoughts, and his camera.
The blog is just going to be me with a video camera, and that'll be it. We'll see what happens.
What is this nigga listening to,
But
bro?
before those uploads would come, Noah had pinned a website in his description that directed users to a blog post written by him that same day, titled, "Is My Dad in a Cult? Even worse, is it satanic?" Throughout the writing, Harpham loosely provides additional context for his video, as he breaks down a sermon given by Pastor Bill, who is shown to be Bill Johnson, a well-known preacher from the Bethel Church in Redding, California, who had garnered a large following online. And despite the sermon being over an hour long, Harpham goes through it point by point, critiquing everything that he said. And the more he typed, the more angry he got. And the more angry he got, the more nonsensical his words became. I'm attempting to present a case that shows the leader of this prestigious institution, along with a select group of rulers, are using mind control techniques to poison and confuse legions of useful idiots that slave away to keep the institution humming along, and that this man, Pastor Bill Johnson, and his ruling caste are using mind control to keep people imbalanced and ignorant, in a state of perpetual waiting for the material world to be defied, while they themselves are profiting immensely in this material world. The blog gives us a peek behind the curtain of the man shown in this video, a man who seems to be clearly mentally unwell, paranoid, and very angry, with the post making it clear that the purpose of Noah's content was to bring and
Nigga, is this a football trophy?
very angry.
That has to be like, this nigga, hey, he might be crazy, but that nigga used to be that nigga in football. I ain't gonna lie, cause nigga, I peeped that shit. I was like, hold up, it's not gold, so I don't know if it's number one or like it's just high placement in general, but
Angry, with the post making it clear that the purpose of Noah's content was to bring this pastor down, and video blog number 1 was supposed to be just the start. However, there would never be a video blog number 2, as just 2 days after posting this video, Noah's life would take a drastic turn.
Colorado Springs 911, what's the exact location of your emergency?
It's at,
Repeat that one more time for me and make sure I had it correct.
well, it's across the street from me. I'm calling from my address.
Tell me exactly what happened.
Well, there's a guy walking around with like 2 cans of gasoline or something, 2 small cans, and a big, like a rifle. It's black, and it had a strap around it. He's walking up to doors and stuff.
At 8:35 a.m. on Halloween morning, a woman named Naomi Bettis called 911 after witnessing a suspicious man walking around her neighborhood in Colorado Springs, as she watched him carrying several cans of gas, as well as an AR-15 that was hung over his shoulder. She didn't know it at the time, but this man was her neighbor, Noah Harpham.
And then I seen that he walked into the building, and the glass window at that business is broke.
And that's a business? What's the name of the business?
I have no idea, but I just know I don't know if it's a fake gun, a BB gun, but it looks pretty scary.
As the call progresses, Naomi explains that she had watched him enter a nearby business, where one of the windows appeared to have been broken. She wasn't sure if anything illegal had happened at this point, but she was convinced that Noah was up to something sinister, which based on what he had in his possession seemed to be the only logical conclusion. However, this concern wasn't felt by everyone.
Okay. And you said it looked like a long gun, correct? Like a rifle?
Yes, uh-huh.
Well, it is an open carry state, so he can have a weapon with him or walking around with it.
it's a difference between being an open carry state and, you know, walking around with 2 kegs of gasoline and, you know, a big ass fucking military grade rifle on your back. It's a difference between the two, you know? And like, that's the thing about open carry states. Like, I feel like open carry states be giving dickheads the right to like either feel more powerful than they really should because they like just brandish a firearm at you and have no repercussion. But like, I'm tired of hearing that open carry state shit. There's nothing wrong. Like, the lady wouldn't be calling you. She said that it looks like the nigga broke into a building and he has gasoline and a gun on his back. Nigga, whether or not it's an open carry state, you as a dispatcher or you as a police officer should be aware that even if there's nothing wrong with you, you should still like go in and check rather than just assume that nothing's the problem. Like, bro.
But of course, having those gas cans, it does seem pretty suspicious, so we're going to keep the call going for that.
Okay, and the window's broken to that business downstairs, so.
Right, and you said he's now upstairs, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And he's knocking on, and she's also said the nigga's knocking on people's door with the gun, bro. Like.
For anyone else in immediate danger?
No.
Okay.
As the operator seemingly brushed aside the incident, stating that she was only keeping the call going because the gas cans could be suspicious. However, even with that, the report still wasn't taken seriously, as the dispatcher hung up on her shortly after, before dispatching one single officer to the scene, an officer that never even made it there, as just moments later he was called off and sent to what was deemed to be a more pressing scene at the local senior center. Naomi's concerns were completely ignored, but despite this, she continued to watch out her window, waiting to see what Noah would do next. 4 minutes after her call with police ended, and 10 minutes after first reporting Noah's behavior, Naomi would dial 911 once again, only this time, her demeanor was far different.
I just called a few minutes ago and the guy came back out and he fired a gun at somebody and he's laying on the street dead. Oh my God, you sent an ambulance too.
Naomi's worst fears had come true, as she frantically told dispatch that the man carrying the gun had just shot and killed someone outside of her.
You, like, imagine if it was the same dispatcher. How do you think that lady feels knowing that she could have avoided that shit if she took the fucking citizens' concerns seriously?
Oh my God.
Okay, calm down, okay? Stay with me. I'm just putting that into the call. Is anyone in immediate danger?
Nigga. Is anyone in immediate danger? Bitch, I don't know. Shit, the nigga just killed somebody in the middle of the street. What do you think? Like, bro.
Seriously? No.
In response, the operator bizarrely asks if anyone else is in danger, but Naomi, likely in a state of shock, answers no, before immediately realizing that Noah was heading in the direction of Platt Avenue, which was known to be a busier neighborhood.
Maybe on Platt Avenue there might be people in danger.
Naomi, I need the suspect's description. Do you know his name?
No, I don't.
Okay, is he white, black, Hispanic, Asian?
He's white, and he's got long curly hair coming out of his cap.
She desperately tried to relay that more people were likely in harm's way, only to be immediately proven right just seconds later.
I think, yeah, there's people outside that might be in danger up on Platt. Okay. Oh, I just heard another gun fire. Oh my God.
When she hears more gunshots, prompting the operator to once again ask,
yeah, they need to call an ambulance or something right away.
Okay. Is anyone in immediate danger?
What the fuck is up with this nigga? Like, I'm not, like, I know there's, like, the police are supposed to, like, try to make someone feel comfortable or some shit in this situation, but bitch, you talking about is anyone in immediate danger? Yes. Did you not just hear me saying there's a gunshots coming out from up the road? Like, does that not sound immediate or dangerous to you? Fire this nigga, bro.
Only people up on Platt, maybe.
All right, I am sending the paramedics to help you now. Stay on the line and I'll tell you exactly what to do next, okay?
Okay.
It was only then that the operator would tell Naomi that police and medical personnel were finally being dispatched to the scene, but by this point, it was far too late. In the moments after Naomi had made her first 911 call, Noah Harpham would first attempt to light his house on fire using the 2 cans of gasoline, though this, however, failed and caused him to quickly shift his focus. Noah instead stepped outside and brandished his rifle, immediately pointing it directly at Andrew Mayers, who had been riding his bike in the neighborhood, and after seeing the gun, the man stopped and begged him not to shoot, to which Noah responded by pulling the trigger multiple times, killing him instantly, with Andrew Myers being the man that Naomi had seen laying dead on the street. From there, Noah began walking up the street where he would eventually see 2 women sitting on the porch of a sobriety center, where local women went to get help with their drug and alcohol addictions, and upon noticing them, he immediately started shooting, striking and killing both Christina Galella and Jennifer Vasquez. Noah walked for over a mile after this before the police finally caught up with him, and when they called out for him to stop walking, Noah turned and immediately opened fire, leading to a massive shootout. When the smoke cleared, the only one struck had been Noah, who was lying dead on the pavement, marking the end of his killing spree. The investigation
And it could have all been avoided if the lady on dispatch would have took the call serious from the get-go.
that
just to be in an open carry state does not mean you don't pay it any mind. Like, what makes her think, oh yeah, something at the senior center is more important than a nigga brandishing a firearm, knocking at people's doors, and with the gasoline kegs in his hand. Like, everything about that just doesn't sound right, bro.
Followed revealed that Noah had never even met any of the 3 people he killed that day. They were all total strangers, leaving the question, why had he done it? Well, even today, there's still no clear motive, with this appearing to be a completely random and senseless act. But looking at his final and only posts online, Noah was clearly very angry and seemed to be mentally unwell, which was corroborated by testimony from his parents, as they later claimed that he had anger issues and suffered from drug addiction and bipolar disorder. But what's so unusual about this to me was that this video was published just 2 days before the killings, and it was clearly not meant to be a one-off post. It was something that he seemed genuinely excited to continue, yet not even 48 hours later, he resorted to this. What happened in that time frame may never be known, but the effects of it will last forever. And I can't help but wonder how differently this all could have gone if that initial 911 operator had just taken Naomi's report seriously.
Deadass, bro.
Noah's spree didn't start for a full 10 minutes after she started that call, which would have been more than enough time for police to intervene. But instead, Noah was given all the time he needed to end 3 innocent lives.
Alright, yo, that lady's an angel. I want to see the comments real quick to see if, like, yeah, okay. Lady, I just heard another gunshot. Dispatchers, anyone in immediate danger? Someone broke into a business with an assault rifle. No, okay, so this is an open carry state. Oh my god, he just shot someone. They're laying dead on the street. Is anyone in immediate danger? He's walking to a busy street. Oh no, I just heard more gunfire. Okay, like, right, bro? Like, I ain't gonna lie, that lady has to lose her job after some shit like that. Like, you just costed people their life, that ass.
It wasn't an attraction for the faint of heart. Standing over 1,300 feet above the ground, the Deoghar Ropeway was built to take tourists up and down the Trikut mountain in Jharkhand, India. It was the tallest cableway in the entire country, offering an unparalleled view of Deoghar.
You would never catch girls some shit like this. Bro, my girl want to go paragliding one of these days, or some shit like that. Is paragliding the one on the back of a boat, or is it like the one just from the sky? Because I ain't gonna lie, I could do the boat, but the other one, hell nah, bro. Fuck no, bro. Oh, bro, shit.
Because of this, videos have long since been posted on YouTube showing just how dramatic of a ride this truly is, with one such video being recorded on April 10th, 2022. That day, a woman and her family had been filming their adventure to the Trikut mountain, and were now filming a first-person view of the descent back down.
That shit's swinging the whole time, bro.
It wasn't the kind of place for anyone with a fear of heights, and the loud sounds of the car passing the support towers only added to the anxiety of the trip. But the group filming this all remained relatively calm, quietly conversing to themselves, seemingly unfazed by the spectacular height.
I couldn't do that shit.
Even enjoying it. A feeling that wouldn't last. Without any warning, the car was met with a massive force, sending the occupants and the camera to the floor, causing the footage to go dark. In that moment, one of the ropeway's axles had dislodged, causing a failure on the pulley system, which resulted in 2 carts crashing into each other, and the rest coming to a sudden and violent halt. The impact was brutal, but somewhat surprisingly, the footage continued. Showing just enough to reveal that the ropeway and the cabin these people were in were both still intact, before the recording came to an end. This group had survived the impact, but the nightmare was far from over. News of the collision quickly spread throughout the region, leading to the scene being flooded with rescuers and news crews alike, with everyone trying to figure out what exactly was happening, and the initial prognosis was grim. In the impact, 1 man in a separate car had been killed, and many others were left injured. And making matters worse, due to the broken axle, the ropeway was now no longer operational, meaning that the 70+ people spread throughout the various cars were now stuck, some of whom were still suspended over 1,000 feet in the air. It was going to be an incredibly difficult rescue operation, just given the height of the ropeway alone. And ultimately, it was determined that the Indian Air Force would utilize their special top-of-the-line helicopters to fly over the cars and lower down ropes with harnesses attached to them for survivors, who then would strap themselves in and be hoisted up to the helicopter above using an electronic winch. It took hours for them to even make their first attempt, before finally trying their approach on a middle-aged man, who slid on his rescue strap and was then slowly pulled up towards safety. The footage of this is horrifying. These people were already over 1,000 feet in the air when their cars got stuck, and now they were being lifted even higher, tethered only by a single rope and a safety harness. Worst of all, it was a particularly windy day, which was made worse by the swirling of the helicopter blades, a combination that caused the man to start swinging wildly from side to side as he hung onto the rope for dear life.
Yo, get the nigga in the helicopter.
It was a grueling journey up, but finally the man reached the aircraft, and with safety just a few feet away, he instinctively reached his arms above his head in an attempt to grab onto the helicopter, a decision that would have disastrous effects. As he did so, his harness slid upwards and was pulled over his shoulders, and then over his arms, before eventually landing in his hands, meaning the only thing left holding him up was his own grip, as he clung to the now useless harness.
Why is nobody there to like pull him in, bro?
For a full minute he dangled there, just inches away from rescue. Meanwhile, the rescue crew searched the craft for something they could use to safely hoist him in, but before they got the chance, the man slipped out of his harness, momentarily catching himself on the side of the helicopter itself, but by this point, his strength was gone, and seconds later, his grip would fail for good. Causing him to plummet approximately 2,000 feet to the ground below, killing him instantly. For those waiting to be rescued,
I'm not gonna lie, like, this whole thing is ass. Like, nobody doing their job properly. The past 2 happened because nobody doing their job properly. Like, yeah, I know he was like trying to kind of like a little excitable with reaching above his head and it made his harness go up and shit. But like, if y'all was pulling him up by the fucking rope, y'all could have definitely pulled that nigga up quicker. Like, pull him into the helicopter rather than just letting the nigga dangle there for a second.
the sight was especially horrific, as they watched the man who they thought had made it to safety fall to the ground right in front of them. The fear they must have felt
and that was the first guy.
Their turn is unimaginable. After this, the rescue crews began making tweaks to their operation, which started to lead to a few attempts going off without a hitch. But the entire process was incredibly slow, as a full 24 hours would pass before 60-year-old Shubha Devi would finally get her chance to be removed from the car. And as she started her ascent up to the helicopter, the wind also caused her to start swinging wildly. So wildly, in fact, that the winch used to lift her suddenly stopped working, leaving her hanging there, only moving side to side rather than up towards safety. As she hung there, rescuers on the helicopter frantically tried to figure out what the problem with the winch was. But before they could ever get their answer, the rope suddenly snapped, causing her to free fall to the ground below. It came without any sort of warning, and from what I can find online, there isn't a definitive answer as to how this happened. But either way, it resulted in Shuba's tragic death.
Damn, bro.
It took a total of 48 hours for the last of the survivors to be rescued and finally brought to safety, an unimaginable amount of time in an unimaginable position, with survivors having—
I ain't even gonna lie, not to even be that guy. You wouldn't catch me doing nothing in India. You're never gonna catch me in India. You wouldn't catch me eating. You wouldn't catch me sleeping. You wouldn't catch me in India in general. I ain't gonna lie. That's gotta be like bottom 3 countries or places to go in general. Hell nah.
having to watch 2 people fall to their deaths before them, unsure if they too were going to meet the same fate. Since its release, the footage has sparked some debate online, as the media actually hailed this as an impressive and even successful rescue operation for the Indian Air Force, while others have hit back on this, as both incidents seem to have been entirely preventable, with more people dying from the rescue than the accident itself. Though ultimately there were no repercussions for the rescue crew, with the only punishments being dished out to the operating company DRIL, which was accused of not properly maintaining the ropeway and not following proper safety protocols. It was even alleged that when the initial crash happened, the people operating the ropeway at the time actually fled the scene and never even called authorities, but I'm not sure if this was ever actually proven. DRIL was fined over $1 million and has since been blacklisted from operating ropeways for 5 years, while the families of the deceased were given around $33,000 in compensation.
$33,000? That's gotta be a lot, like Indian terms or some shit. Cause that shit better be fucking bankroll. Cause $33,000, nigga. If my mom was on some shit like that and y'all was supposed to save her and she died 2,000 feet, like falling 2,000 feet out of the air, nigga, you best believe I'm overly suing for everything. 33,000, I ain't even stopping at that, nigga. I might go for y'all myself, honestly. I might not even care about the money. I might care about y'all lives, nigga. Bro, prayers out to people like this, genuinely.
Currently, there are plans to repair and reopen the ropeway, though at this point, no official date
nobody
has been
doing
given
that
for the
shit.
reopening.
Reopen that shit if you want. Nobody better hop on that bitch, dead ass. Yo, W video from my nigga Nick Crowley. I ain't gonna lie, that shit, it's a lot of incompetence. And like, even though justice did get served, a lot of it still does not feel served, if you understand what I mean. But thank y'all boys and girls so much for watching this video. Remember, close to 200 subscribers. Once again, would appreciate y'all helping me get to that goal. All that being said and done, it's been your boy Cal, aka Activism. And remember, always bet on Cal. Peace.